Pikachu, the electric mouse that requires no introduction. Over the years, this Pokemon is arguably the most recognizable face from this franchise. In the decades that we've all known and loved this thing, it has taken many different forms. Today, it's my turn. To celebrate my 100th upload to YouTube, we're gonna be having a little bit of fun. I'm gonna make this an Uber Pikachu. When I say Uber Pikachu, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For me, it was a light ball and surf. Then I thought to myself, why stop there? If we're giving ourselves an awesome move, then we might as well give ourselves an awesome move set. Our Pikachu today, nicknamed 100, is gonna have a starting moveset of Thunderbolt, Surf, Hidden Power Ice, and Growl? I didn't really know what to put in that fourth spot, so let's just see where the run takes us. But I mean, this is my channel. What do you think is gonna end up there? On top of that, I've given Pikachu a Light Ball to hold, which in Generation 3 only doubles our special attack. Based on that moveset, do you think we're gonna need much else? I've also gone with a Quiet Nature, reducing our speed and increasing our special attack. I have the sneaking suspicion that we're gonna need such a high level to complete the run that our speed is not gonna be an issue. Pikachu also comes standard with the Static ability, which I don't really feel is gonna be very useful. Given our lackluster defenses, I'm guessing this is gonna be a run that we either one-shot stuff or get one-shot. Obviously, starting off with HP Ice on our side in the lab battle, Bulbasaur is no problem. The typical Pikachu early game would be absolutely atrocious. That's because the rock-hard leader resists normal moves and is completely immune to electric. With Surf on our side, we have a 4x super effective move, so I don't think I need much grinding. With that said, we are a Pikachu, so I do a little bit of early grinding. Doo-doo. I defeat the optional bug catcher Charlie in the forest as well as camper Liam in Brock's gym. Surf obviously makes him quite easy as well. Let's check out Brock. 4x super effective Surf makes Geodude go away in a single shot. No surprise there. Part of the reason I did the early training was to try and outspeed Brock's Onix, but I really don't know why upon reflection. He goes for Bind, whoop-de-doo, and Surf takes him out. In this first run, there's definitely a theme of me being overly cautious with our defense stat. That's why I love the 2-run format, because it allows me to correct a lot of my boo-boos. The only noteworthy part about going through Mount Moon is the fact that I am doing a little bit of additional training. With a reduced speed nature, I am slightly worried about Misty's Starmie, which has 53 speed, and Rival 2 is generally kinda scary. Mostly because of Sand Attack and Sleep Powder. That additional training gets us to level 17 by the time I'm defeating Miguel, where I'm of course gonna be grabbing the Dome Fossil. Once I'm in Cerulean, I also elect to defeat the 2 trainers in Misty's gym. Defeating them levels us up to 18 over the next damage rounding threshold, which I hope is gonna be enough for Misty? Let's find out. We lead off against Staryu, who falls to a single shot of our Stab or same type attack bonus super effective Thunderbolt. Staryu is not the threatening one though, as Starmie hits the field. We're a ways off from outspeeding Starmie, who moves first, hitting a massive Water Pulse. We will not survive 2 of those. Pikachu responds with Thunderbolt, and we get the one-shot. Welcome to the Light Ball Pikachu run. Next, on the way to Nugget Bridge, we encounter Rival 2. Bird Brains out front here is always a concern, but we outspeed hitting a Thunderbolt for the one-shot. That right there was pretty much my only concern, and we can just rock our way through the remainder of his team. I knew at least in the early game that Pikachu should not really encounter any problems. The only thing of note along the next route is that I am going to be skipping Secret Power, because why bother? I am, however, trying to focus on trainers that are going to be giving me defense EVs. We're only 10 minutes into this run, but that round 2 league has been looming in my mind from the very start. I felt that the most valuable thing we could do for Pikachu was make it as defensive as possible for that league. I'm definitely putting more of an emphasis on physical defense than special defense. You can definitely see my brain being off somewhere else as I'm thinking about round 2 picking up things like the Citrus Berry. I could not say for certain this early into the run, but I'm 99% sure that the only thing Pikachu is ever gonna hold is that Light Ball. On the SSN, I am making sure to grab Rest. Again, I was not sure if I'd need it or not, especially considering how frail Pikachu is. Once the SSN sails off though, there's no way for me to get this, so I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it in this first run. Speaking of things to optimize in the second run, I'm picking up even more berries. What can I say, some habits are a little hard to break. Rival 3 on the SSN is an absolute joke, so we can jump right into our next gym leader, Lieutenant Surge. I'd love to say that this was perfectly planned out coming into Lieutenant Surge at level 26 with 54 speed. His ace Raichu has 53, so we do outspeed by a single point. I'm talking about his ace already because Surf just deletes Voltorb and Pikachu. Raichu is the real threat. I outspeed going for Surf and he responds with a double team. Please hit the second, and I do. Battle over. That was another easy gym victory, but it already has me thinking at what point is this Pikachu gonna start falling off? On the way to Rock Tunnel, I made sure to pop into this Pokemon Center as there's a chance that I might need Thunder later in the run. Popping into this Poké Center makes it a fly point that I can then use later in the game if I need to backtrack. No, stop grabbing berries, man! On the other side of the cave, I am proud of myself. I managed to cruise right by Return, which is another usual staple of these runs. But then I jump into this little center area here to grab even more berries. Just look at all the time saving available for the next run already. Muppet. Down in the Rocket Hideout is where I'm gonna find my first truly scary battle, and that's a strange thing for me to say. Giovanni's Kangaskhan packs a wallop. His 40 base power Fake Out deals almost half of my health. Thunderbolt does deal over half damage, but there's no way we survive the Mega Punch, which is twice as powerful as the Fake Out. The good news is that Giovanni is an awful trainer, and in the next battle not only does he not go for Fake Out, but I also get the critical hit. I was really concerned that I had already found the first wall of the game, but not today, that's a second run problem. With the Sylph Scope in hand and HP Ice on our set, I figured that Erica next was a no-brainer. We start the battle strong, taking out Victory Bell in a single shot. That does fill me with hope Tangela isn't that threatening, also falling to a single shot. Her Ace Vileplume hits the field, and our super effective HP Ice does not get the one-shot, leaving her at a sliver. She lands a Stun Spore on us, and now paralyzed, I'm starting to feel a little scared. This battle could have fallen away from me very quickly at this point, but luckily Pikachu continues to hit through and takes out Vileplume after a couple more turns. We had a bit of grace there, but not a lot. As a plus note, as I approach Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower, we are only 23 minutes into this run with 4 badges. That's pretty stinking fast so far. The Rival 4 battle itself is another series of one-shots, but I can now talk about why I chose the Bulbasaur team. I knew for certain that I wanted to have Arcanine on his team because his extreme speed in the late game is awful to deal with sometimes, especially for such a defensively frail Pokemon. That left the choice between Blastoise and Venusaur, and frankly I find Venusaur more threatening than Executor. Let's be honest, between Gyarados and Blastoise, they're both gonna get outsped in one shot. Rival 4 falls, and I continue my way up the tower. This is one of those times where I was very intentional with my button presses. There is not a doubt in my mind that Cubone's mom here could wipe the floor with us if I misclicked. If I click Surf correctly though, it's bye-bye Marowak and the journey moves forward. The prospect of Silphco and Saffron with both Rival 5 and another Giovanni fight kinda terrified me, so I'm heading to Fuchsia City next. Because I have not done my shopping trip yet, nor do I know how much grinding Pikachu needs, I skip right by the majority of the trainers on this route. The Coughing line is excellent for defensive EVs, so there's a good chance we'll be coming back here. Once in Fuchsia, I'm making the choice to skip right by the substitute trainer. This is definitely one of the cases where I was worried about teaching it and then being stuck with it because I cannot relearn it. My faith in Pikachu's defenses was pretty much non-existent. Upon reviewing this footage, I do find myself with a question. I already have Surf. Do I need to complete the Safari Zone? I mean, yes, because I do still need the gold teeth, but do I have to collect Surf here? I already have it. Either way, while I'm down in Fuchsia, I have my eyes set on our next gym leader, Koga. I'm starting to feel like my margin of error is shrinking and shrinking, so against his lead Coughing, who are notorious for using Smokescreen, I hit it with a Thunderbolt immediately, taking it out. Muck hits the field next, and it looks like Thunderbolt is dealing around half damage while he minimizes. On the next turn, I miss the two-shot with Thunderbolt, leaving him at a sliver while he responds with a sickening sludge, leaving us at a single hit point. He also manages to get the poison, so this battle is over. In the next battle, I do manage to get the two-shot against him, but he lands a Toxic this time. We're officially in a race against the clock, taking out his next Coughing in a single shot, bringing out his Ace Wheezing. We outspeed, dropping him into Red Bar, but that's not gonna be enough. Wheezing responds with a Stab Sludge, which I'm not even sure we would have survived from full health. Tail tucked tightly between my legs, I decided to do a little bit of grinding within the gym here. The Sand Slashes and Hypno Line are going to give us great defensive EVs while also giving us some pretty dense experience. These couple of trainers put us right before level 40, which I was hoping would be sufficient. After all, I didn't need level 40 for the lead Coughing, whom after knocking out, I get my experience and level 40. This gives a much better range against the Muck, also getting the paralysis, and Muck is also fully paralyzed. Get wrecked, buddy. The next Coughing is no problem at all, and we're back to that Ace Wheezing at full health. Thunderbolt takes him into deep Red Bar, and it seems that we are out of one-shot range as he goes for Toxic. Koga heals with a Hyper Potion, but this battle is over as Pikachu gets the critical. Things are definitely getting more shaky as we progress, but that's 5 badges. I'm still absolutely terrified of what lies within Silphco, and with Koga's badge I can now use Surf in the overworld. With Surf on our side, I was hoping that the amount of experience I could get from Blaine would be enough to make me feel at least somewhat comfortable going back to Silph. I felt so confident with a Light Ball Surf that I decided to skip by all of the trainers in his gym using the Poké Quiz mechanic. Let's find out if that was a good call. I start off the battle feeling real strong, taking out both his Growlithe and Ponyta in a single shot each with Surf. Everybody has a plan until they get Fire Blasted in the face. Rapidash survives on a sliver of Red Bar, responding with a Fire Blast that leaves Pikachu at 5 hit points. Blaine heals and I continue going for Surf, and it seems that that was a range, but this battle is over. If I just barely one-shot the Rapidash, there's no way I one-shot Arcanine, and yup, there goes the battle. I will note that our little electric mouse is only level 41 right now, facing down the level 47 Arcanine. Credit where credit is due, but Pikachu definitely needs a little bit of training, so I knock out all of the trainers in Blaine's gym. Coming back into the battle 2 levels higher over the next damage rounding threshold, let's see how this goes. Now over that threshold, I can obviously carve through Growlithe, Ponyta, and Rapidash with no issue. With only 2 additional levels, I was not thinking we'd get the one-shot against Arcanine, but what I was not expecting was the clean one-shot from Fire Blast. We have 0 margin for error against that thing. We're definitely going to need a little bit of additional training, so I decided that now is as good a time as any to jump back to Saffron and check out Silphco. I definitely feel like I did this out of order. Despite Silphco scaring me so much, I could have done my item collection in here first. Pikachu is definitely going to need all the help it can get, and maxing out our vitamins should have been a priority. Even though at this point it is totally unnecessary, I do go through grabbing all of the items. Now at level 45, I decided what the heck, before I try anything else, let's check out Rival 5. In hindsight, I might have been a little overly terrified of this battle. With the exception of Pidgeot going for priority quick attack, I actually one-shot through his entire team all the way up to his Venusaur. Venusaur is the scary one though, as HP Ice leaves him at about 1/3. That's really bad news as he puts me to sleep and his now Overgrow boosted Stab Razor Leaf takes us down to 21 hit points. I sleep through the next turn, this is it, but then he misses his Razor Leaf. After that 5% likelihood, Pikachu then wakes up and we end the battle on the next turn. Well, I certainly cannot rely on that happening in the second playthrough, but Rival 5 is now behind us. There is still Giovanni to worry about though, and his battle is so sketchy. Nidorino falls to a single Thunderbolt, no problem there, but then Nidoqueen hits the field. She isn't nearly as scary as she's going to be in the final battle against Giovanni, but we miss the one-shot with Surf and she lands a Tail Whip. You might be thinking, Tail Whip, that's not so bad, but then Kangaskhan is back out. He lands a critical fake out, taking us from full health to under a quarter. I felt that this was not salvageable at all as Thunderbolt misses the one-shot, but then Giovanni does what he does, going for Tail Whip. As if. Kangaskhan falls, followed by Rhyhorn, who's no problem at all for 4 times super effective Surf. I'm definitely gonna have to come up with something better in the second playthrough, but now with Sylph behind us, we can focus in on another gym leader, Sabrina. After the toil and trouble of Blaine and Sylphco, Sabrina feels really good. I keep my cursor stuck firmly over Thunderbolt and just mash A all the way through to the end of the battle. Kadabra, Mr. Mime, and Venomoth all fall in quick succession to stab Thunderbolts. This levels Pikachu up to 48 as her ace Alakazam hits the field. One more Thunderbolt, one more one-shot. Easy peasy. With the additional levels under our belt, Blaine should be no problem, but I am going to be taking a detour. I finally head back to Celadon, going to the department store to max out our vitamins. At this point in the run, my EVs are getting fairly filled out, buying only 3 calciums but 4 irons. My priority being special attack to avoid getting hit in the first place, and defense to hopefully survive one? Back at Blaine, the battle is no problem, and we're now able to one-shot his Arcanine. One-shot or be one-shot indeed. With a round 2 finish in mind, I'm of course agreeing to Bill's request, heading out to the Sevi Islands to finish the first part of that plotline. I feel that getting this extra experience before round 1 is never a bad call when you're aiming for round 2. Speaking of extra experience though, now with our EVs maxed out, I definitely felt that we needed to do more training. What better place to do that than Giovanni's gym, which is stacked with defensive EVs. Because of my poor planning, or I guess no planning, my EVs were actually capped fairly early in this gym. I do still need the experience though, so it's a full clear regardless. This levels Pikachu up to 53 in preparation for the final gym leader, Giovanni. This final gym battle ends up being fairly anticlimactic if I'm being honest. His fastest Pokemon is Dugtrio at 105 speed, and at 127 we outspeed and one-shot his entire team with super effective Surf. Yup, that about sums up the Giovanni battle. Surf is so good. While running this, I was so wrapped up in the action that I had not been paying attention to the timer very much. Our Super Chew defeats the gym challenge in just over 45 minutes. So impressive that Pikachu has actually beaten Mewtwo's first run by 6 seconds. That is saying something. This leaves us with one final challenge before jumping into the league's Rival 6. We're off to a promising start in this battle, with Bird Brains falling to a single Thunderbolt. And then it happens. I mess up. Speaking of having zero margin for error in these battles, I misclick using Thunderbolt against Rhyhorn while he responds with a Takedown. Takedown from a Rhyhorn is among the least impressive things ever, but it still takes us to under half health. I cruise through his next several Pokemon with no issue at all, but then the Ace Venusaur hits the field. Only 2 levels higher than him, it's no surprise that HP Ice does not get the one-shot. He responds with Razor Leaf, but he probably could have responded with anything and it would have knocked us out. In the next battle, I don't misclick against Rhyhorn, so I come to Venusaur with much better health. I gather exactly 0 information though, because Pikachu gets the critical, and that's it. The second run is definitely gonna need some planning. On my way through Victory Road, I have to take a quick moment to thank you all for your comments, tips, tricks, feedback, all of it. While pushing this boulder around to get the rare candy, it's pretty easy at 4 times game speed to slip up and push the boulder too far. Instead of resetting the room entirely, all you have to do is run down out of line of sight of the boulder and it will reset its position. Add that to the list of things that I now know because of you. Thank you so much for helping me become a better player. With that said, there's nothing else that I do in Victory Road, making a beeline to the leagues. Lorelei kicks us off. Because this is a Generation 1 remake, of course, the Ice-type Lorelei mostly has water types. As such, it should come as no surprise that our Light Ball Pikachu's stab super effective Thunderbolts carve through everything all the way up until Jinx. Jinx is the only non-water type she has, and as a result, we do not get the one-shot, and she hits us with a lovely kiss, putting us to sleep. It's a swift defeat from there. Pikachu does not have the defenses to stand up to anything for more than, like, one turn. In the next battle, it's a pretty similar situation, with Jinx also attracting us. Oh boy. By some miracle, though, after the first Ice Punch lands, Pikachu not only wakes up, but hits through that darn attraction, knocking out Jinx. By the way, I don't feel a Cherry Berry would have helped at all there. Our special attack being cut in half does not do us any favors. Bruno is next. And, Bruno's terrifying. All of his physical attacks are going to be hitting us like Mack trucks, not to mention these super effective earthquakes from his Onyxes. I can't waste a single turn against them, using 4x super effective Surf to get them out of the way. Hitmonchan is out next, so let's hope that this Thunderbolt is enough, and it is not. He hits us with a Rock Tomb, which also lowers our speed, and yeah, that's gonna be all we can handle. Pikachu doesn't even get to sniff the last two members of his team because Hitmonchan's Sky Uppercut finishes us off. In the next battle, I do get a little bit lucky, managing to get a paralysis on Hitmonchan, but still having my speed lowered. Even with that little bit of luck, it does not last very long. Hitmonlee comes out next, and we're done again. I felt like this was far too early in the run to be using our rare candies, so I actually take the Blackout, and I'm gonna go training in Victory Road. That is after a nice training amuse-bouche on Cycling Road. I end up doing a full clear, which puts me at 65 back at Lorelei. The first playthroughs are all about gathering information, and even at 65, I cannot one-shot Jinx. Good to know. The Onyxes got nothing on me, but it's Hitmonchan that was the problem. I let off my Thunderbolt and so close! I do manage to take out Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee this time in a single shot, which tells me that that was a range for both. His Ace Machamp is out last, and yeah, no way, man. He even adds insult to injury, knocking us out with Rock Tomb. After that bout of training, I figured now is as good a time as any to start using rare candies, so I used 3, bringing us to level 68 over the next damage rounding threshold. That then guarantees the one-shot against both Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Big Bad Machamp is back out, I wonder how this goes, but we get a critical with Thunderbolt. I both love and hate that because we're through Bruno, but I got 0 information for next run. Oh well, let's see what Agatha has in store for us today. Nothing but clear skies and smooth sailing, it seems. I decided to just go for it, thunderbolting everything. Her lead Gengar, Golbat, Arbok, and Ace Gengar all fall in a single shot, leveling us up to 69. Nice. Haunter's trailing in the back, and after all those one-shots, there's no surprise here. Bye-bye Haunter, bye-bye Agatha. Here's hoping that Lance also goes this smoothly. The most threatening thing to me on Lance's team is going to be Aerodactyl, who at 173 speed does outspeed us. Stab 4x super effective Thunderbolt makes Gyarados go away, and I was expecting Aerodactyl to come out next. Lance pulls a fast one on me this time, and it's actually Dragonair who comes out next, so my Thunderbolt does not one-shot. This results in taking a little bit of damage, but once I switch over to HP Ice, I can carve through both Dragonairs and his Ace Dragonite without any problems. Unfortunately, that extra damage we took from Dragonair's Outrage puts us in range for Aerodactyl's Hyper Beam. He outspeeds, ends the battle, but I hope that's an easy correction. In the next battle, I don't misclick, and I make it to Aerodactyl with full health. This time he goes for Ancient Power, but he also gets the Omni Boost. Yeah, right, Special Defense +1 does not matter to a stab super effective Thunderbolt from our God Chew. Aerodactyl falls, and with him the Round 1 Elite Four. That leaves the champion. I lead off against Birdbrains with a stab super effective Thunderbolt. It feels good. Rhydon falls to a 4x super effective Surf. Then Alakazam also falls victim to a Thunderbolt. Gyarados is obviously a one-shot, and Arcanine also falls to a single Surf. His Ace Venusaur is going to stall our mayhem just a little bit as we miss the one-shot with HP Ice. Venusaur in the champion battle is not the most threatening opponent though, going for Sunny Day while his Citrus Berry takes him out of heal range. We outspeed the next turn and super effective HP Ice finishes the battle. It seems Bruno was the real champion of this league. With that, Pikachu has already cleared the Round 1 league, but there's still plenty of pain to be had in Round 2. 100 clocks in with a Round 1 time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 59 seconds at level 71 with 11 resets. This took 3 hours and 51 minutes of game time. There isn't much excitement to discuss between the leagues aside from my muscle memory continuing to take over while my brain is off somewhere else. I still collect the leftovers, even though this light ball is going to remain securely in Pikachu's little paw. I suppose I can justify it a little bit. I definitely want the rare candy just to the south of the leftovers. I know you've all been waiting with bated breath to see what finally fills that 4th move slot. I definitely didn't use Growl nor Thunder Wave a single time. In Fuchsia City, you know what's coming. We're teaching Substitute. I figured at this point in the game there was no reason to not get it. With Pikachu's moveset now looking much more exceptional, let's jump into the Round 2 leagues. Lorelei's Dugong kicks off the battle, and no surprise here, it's a one-shot. In Round 2, her team has shifted a little bit, with Piloswine hitting the field next. I would be threatened by this thing, but surf's up, dude, you're out of here. Cloyster is a no-brainer with another Thunderbolt knocking it out, but then that troublesome Jinx is back out. Just like in Round 1, my Thunderbolt is not able to one-shot, but fortunately, she misses with Lovely Kiss. That was lucky, but now I've got her in a heal loop, so I just keep Thunderbolting until Jinx goes away. Her Ace Lapras brings up the back, and no surprise, Stab's super effective Thunderbolt electrifies the transport Pokemon. There wasn't much of a question in my mind about Lorelei, but I wonder if Bruno has improved. His Onyxuses have upgraded to Steelixuses and are now even more threatening. Part of me wanted to try setting up a substitute into a Rock Tomb, but if you're in knockout range, he's going for Earthquake. As such, I went straight for the Surf, getting rid of Steelix 1. Hitmonlee is out next, so I switched to Thunderbolt, and we leave him with a Sliver. He responds with a super effective Earthquake that one-shots Pikachu. Yup, we are definitely in range of Steelix then. I was curious if that was a range or not, doing the exact same thing in the next battle, but I leave Hitmonlee with even more health this time, and yeah, we're still one-shot. Just like Round 1, Bruno, I once again used 3 rare candies, bringing me up to level 78. Now we can one-shot Hitmonlee, but then Machamp comes out next, he survives our Thunderbolt, and Earthquake ends Pikachu once again. Ah, what the heck, let's use 5 more rare candies, leveling up to 83. Let's see how that does against Machamp, and we still miss the one-shot. He fires back a super effective Earthquake, but Pikachu holds on with 14 hit points. Thank goodness for all of those defensive EVs I was focusing on earlier. In a strange little turn, I decided to switch to Surf for a little bit of chip damage, and I end up critting and knocking him out. Huh, well, could've led with that. Surf then takes out his second Steelix, leaving Hitmonchan in the back. Hitmonchan, who has priority Mach Punch. Oh no! That's another reset, and my confidence shattered in this battle. It seems we can fairly reliably survive Machamp's Earthquake, but that Mach Punch in the back is nasty. In the interest of shaking things up, I decided to try using a substitute against his lead Steelix. This is the best possible outcome. Not only does he go for Rock Tomb, but our substitute does not break. This means that after carving through the Steelix and the Hitmonlee, Machamp's Earthquake only breaks our decoy. This time I can take out Machamp in Green Bar. What a difference that makes. Unfortunately, you can't fix me sometimes, and I use Thunderbolt against Steelix, who then responds with a Stab super effective Earthquake, and once again I'm getting a reset. Ah, frustrating! I know what works now though, and thankfully it seems that Steelix 1 is gonna be fairly reliable going for Rock Tomb. I make it back to the second Steelix, and this time I go for Surf. Yup, that works better. Hitmonchan is back out, but we are well out of Mach Punch range. We outspeed, hitting the final Thunderbolt of Bruno's battle. After overcoming the Bruno hump, let's hope that the remainder of the Round 2 league goes as smoothly as Round 1 did. It's a strange thing to be glad to be fighting Agatha, and just like in round 1, I outspeed and hit Thunderbolt after Thunderbolt after Thunderbolt. Then a Thunderbolt, and another Thunderbolt. Ugh, that felt good. Bye-bye, Agatha. Here's hoping that Lance's Aerodactyl doesn't give any problems this time. Wait a tick, we all know the round 2 Lance exploit with Substitute. His lead Gyarados lives to paralyze you, but if I toss down a Substitute first, he's just gonna keep Thunder Waving my decoy. This gives me the safety to take out Gyarados, and then Aerodactyl's Earthquake simply bounces off the decoy. Pikachu is safe. I respond with another stab super effective Thunderbolt, and this battle should be mine. 4 times super effective HP Ice takes out his first Dragonite. Then I misclick against Kingdra, going for another HP Ice, which only does about half. It looks like we're out of Kingdra's one-shot range though, as he goes for Dragon Dance, and I can finish him off with a Thunderbolt. His Ace Dragonite is last, but we outspeed, hitting one final 4 times super effective HP Ice for the victory. Alright, pretty good, but the round 2 champion has had a significant upgrade. Let's do it. He leads off with Heracross, who does come equipped with Earthquake, as does most of this league, so I go for Thunderbolt. I leave Heracross in red bar while he responds with an Earthquake that brings us to 9 hit points. Well, that's a great first turn. Heracross goes into a heal loop, and I take him out over a couple of turns, bringing out Gyarados. At 11 HP after the level up, wouldn't you guess we're still in range of his Earthquake, so I take him out with Thunderbolt. I have good news and bad news. The good news is that Tyranitar isn't even gonna hit us. The bad news is it's because his Sandstorm actually does the work for him. This battle is not gonna be kind to Pikachu. Before the next attempt, I used a single rare candy, coming back in at level 85 over the next damage rounding threshold. We still can't one-shot Heracross, but he is paralyzed and fully paralyzed this time. Can't rely on that, but let's go for it and see what happens. Gyarados falls, bringing T-Tar back out. I go for Surf, come on, and we leave him with a tick of red bar. The Gen 2 Pseudo responds with an Earthquake, and there's no way we survive that. That's all the information I needed. I just need a couple more levels, and I should be good in this fight. I take the Whiteout, heading right back into the league. Let's do a touch of late-game training. We have to keep in mind that the threat of Bruno cannot be understated. I crushed Lorelei, but in the first battle back against Bruno, his Steelix seems to want to go for Earthquake now. After the first decoy falls, there's nothing I can do. It's just a slow and steady defeat from there. I know the substitute strategy works though, and he goes for Rock Tomb on the next battle, so let's jump back to the champion. Coming back at the higher level, it now seems that Heracross will go for Rock Tomb now and then. There is no hope for Pikachu in this battle with the speed reduced, so I decided just to reset right there. It also seems that our Thunderbolt is doing just barely not enough damage. I really need level 88. In the next battle, I come back into Tyranitar with exactly the same results as the first battle. I don't even have the staying power to survive the Sandstorm, and I'm gonna be taking the Whiteout once again. There's no way around it. I need that additional experience. I reset twice against Bruno on the way back through, but then Lance's Ace Dragonite levels us up to 90. That's 2 damage rounding thresholds higher than last time. Surely I've got this time. I go for Thunderbolt against Heracross, and I get the one-shot. That's progress. Gyarados, skip. Alright, Tyranitar, what you got? I go for Serve, and I finally get the one-shot. What does the rest of this battle have in store? He brings out his Ace Venusaur next, who I'm still not able to one-shot while he sets up the Sun. That's actually mildly concerning because it's going to reduce our Surf damage against Arcanine. Funny enough though, it seems I've got him in a heal loop right now, so I can just stall out the Sunlight while he wastes all of his full restores. Venusaur goes down, bringing out Alakazam next. We outspeed and one-shot with Thunderbolt. That leaves 1. With no sunlight on the field, my fully effective, super effective Surf brings down Arcanine. The round 2 champion has fallen. Holy guacamole, what a run! This one is going to be a fun one to route, and I absolutely know what's going in that 4th move slot now. Our Light Ball wielding Godchu 100 clocks in with a round 2 time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 38 seconds at level 90 with 25 resets. This took 5 hours and 5 minutes of game time. Appearing at the picture painted by the primary playthrough packed with performance pitfalls and pretty palatable pain, how much polishing and potential positives in pace can this potent, powerful, possibly preposterous Pikachu perform, per se? As is tradition in the second playthrough, I'll only be focusing on the things that I changed between runs. Most of the early game remained exactly the same, with the only exception being that I gave Pikachu Substitute in that 4th move slot. I follow the same route to Brock, defeating him easily, and in Mount Moon, of course I'm gonna be grabbing that Dome Fossil. In Cerulean City, it's the same routing, except for this time Misty goes slightly different. Starmie's Water Pulse does have a 20% chance of confusing us, so against Staryu, who usually goes for Harden on the first turn, I set up a substitute. It all goes to plan as the decoy absorbs the Water Pulse, keeping Pikachu safe from confusion, and Thunderbolt ends the battle. Rival 2 falls just as easily as last time, and I have my first time save on the way to Vermilion. Look at me, ignoring the citrus berry that does nothing for me, but I do still want that rare candy. On the SSN, I'm on a roll, skipping both rest and all of the trash can berries. Look at me go. Rival 3 obviously falls without issue, and there's not really much change in the Surge battle. He does paralyze me this time, which could have gone badly, but I still felt pretty secure. Pikachu was so powerful in the early game that really nothing has changed aside from that little bit of substitute safety. That brings us to the first potential wall of the run, Giovanni's first Kangaskhan. Sporting a moveset of Bind, Rock Throw, Harden, and Rage, this Onix is of no threat, so I set up a substitute against it. I make it go away as well as the Rhyhorn, bringing out that Kanga. Thunderbolt deals 3/4 to him, while his Mega Punch only breaks the decoy. Booyah, the battle is over on the next turn. Erica is next, and I did make sure to be over the level 33 damage rounding threshold this time. For some supplemental safety against her lead Victory Bell, who usually leads with Stun Spore, I also throw in the substitute. It works beautifully, one-shotting Victory Bell and Tangela once again. Against Vileplume, I think I actually could have done the one-shot, but instead I went for a Thunderbolt just in case and finished the battle on the next turn. We're just under 21.5 minutes into the run with 4 badges, and we're not slowing down yet. Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower also falls easily, but that's the last time I get to say that we have an easy rival battle. I finish off the tower helping Mr. Fuji, and this is the point that the second run starts to diverge from the first. This time I'm cleverer, and I'm heading to Sylph next. I am once again going to be doing a full clear of items, and this time I'm also using the opportunity to train a little bit. I'm focusing once again on trainers that hold special attack and defensive EVs for me. There's no shortage of Weezings and Magnetons in this place. After collecting the high-value items, I head off to Celadon to do my shopping. This time I buy 3 calciums and 3 irons. That's all I need to get to the EV max of 100 with the vitamins. This leads us to Cycling Road, where this time I will be doing my grinding on the first pass through. I have a much better understanding in the second playthrough of just how much experience I need to gain here. Plus, the Coughing line is giving us ample defensive EVs. We know how important those are. After clearing the Safari Zone, instead of defeating Koga, I'm actually going to be heading back to Sylph. This may seem like an odd choice, but it's once again focused around optimizing my EVs. First, Rival 5 must fall. Just like last time, the battle is a series of one-shots leading up to Alakazam. This Alakazam is not threatening in the least. His only attacking move is Future Sight. I use the opportunity to set up another decoy in preparation for Venusaur. His sleep shenanigans bounce right off of the substitute, and the irony here is not lost on me. That non-threatening Future Sight hits, breaking the decoy, but this battle is ours. We outspeed, finishing the battle on the next turn. The pretty threatening Giovanni battle at the end of Sylph can't be ignored. What do you think my solution is? Well, substitute, of course. There is a fair amount of randomness still associated with this battle. I set up my decoy against Nidorino, and Horn Attack does not break it. He's out of here bringing out the Nidoqueen. She goes for Poison Sting, which does break the decoy, and fingers crossed that Kangaskhan cooperates. Or we could just get a critical strike and take him out in a single shot. Okay, that was easy. Rhyhorn in the back falls easily, leveling us up to 48. That grinding is paying off, but we're not done yet. This time, on the way through Sabrina's gym, I'm going to be clearing all of the trainers. The goal here being to eke out as many special attack EVs as I possibly can. With the grinding that I've done so far and the vitamins beforehand, I am getting pretty close to the 510 EV cap at this point. I'm 2 levels higher, so it's no surprise that Sabrina's Alakazam is still a one-shot and she's an easy victory. I fly back to Fuchsia City, now with the Lapras from Sylph in hand, so that I can teach Strength immediately and claim the rare candy in the Warden's house. I'm far too lazy to walk around that ledge, so I just fly back over it, and after a quick heal, I'm prepared to face Koga at the gym. We can skip by the coughing, and much to my disappointment, the Muck does not get one-shot. This is a damage range. Pikachu is capable of one-shotting Muck right now, but we just missed it. We do end up badly poisoned by Toxic, but Muck falls soon after and coughing follows. This brings out the Ace Wheezing, and one final Thunderbolt finishes the battle. You gotta love the one-shots. Our path now leads us south to Cinnabar Island. The only thing of note to discuss on the island itself is that on my way through Blaine's gym, I defeat all of the trainers. If by some miracle I'm still gaining EVs at this point, it would be good for speed, but I think I'm capped. Defeating these boys is all about the experience. This time, facing Blaine at level 55, the entire battle is a series of one-shots. That includes the big bad Arcanine that pulls up the rear. I zip out to the Sevi Islands to help Bill and Celio, and then I zip back just as quickly. Finally, I once again defeat all of the trainers in Giovanni's gym, again just for the experience. There will be no mid-league grinding in round 1 this time. Giovanni is of course a total pushover when he's faced with a surfing Pokemon, and that levels us up to 60. The additional grinding does result in us finishing the gym challenge 2 minutes and 35 seconds slower than last time, but we are almost fully prepped for the league. This leaves us with Rival 6 before entering Victory Road. Once again, I am going to be relying on Substitute to add that layer of insurance to this battle. Birdbrains up front here seems to like going for quick attack against Pikachu, so I get my Substitute up with no issue. I can one-shot my way through the rest of the battle leading up to the Ace Venusaur. I once again cannot one-shot him, but our decoy blocks the Razor Leaf, keeping Pikachu safe to take out Venusaur on the next turn. Have I mentioned just how excellent Substitute is? In the final stretch through Victory Road, I am once again going to be doing some additional training. This additional training puts Pikachu most of the way through level 64 by the end of it, but I did make a boo-boo here. I should have fought one additional trainer, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Right now, Pikachu is ready to enter the Round 1 League. Let's jump in. Lorelei is not super threatening, as we saw last time, but there is that Jinx problem. Dugong goes away post-haste, and in round 1, you can usually rely on Cloyster to do something silly. Spikes, Supersonic, or Protect, I don't really care what you do as long as it's one of them. I set up my decoy while she goes for Spikes, which is completely useless in a solo run. I fry my way through Cloyster, Slowbro, and Lapras, bringing out that problematic Jinx. This time though, I have a decoy, and although she could attract me, she's likely going for Lovely Kiss. It does not matter though, as with the additional special attack EVs, I am able to one-shot her. This is definitely an example of me playing a little too conservatively, but hey, it got the job done. Against Bruno, it's much the same story as last time, but I am going to be using Substitute. Not against the Onyxes though, they have to go away immediately. It's against Hitmonchan that I try to set up my decoy. He usually goes for Rock Tomb, but he messes me up this time going for Sky Uppercut. Obviously the decoy breaks, I'll just set up a second one, please work. He goes for Rock Tomb on the second turn, so with a sigh of relief from me, I can take him and Hitmonlee out, bringing out Machamp. Behind the safety of my decoy, I'm not worried about that cross-chop, because that would have been the end of it otherwise. The decoy breaks, but Machamp falls on the next turn. Nice and consistent. Or at least mostly consistent. There's no change with Agatha from the first playthrough because a one-shot is a one-shot is a one-shot. Is a one-shot is a one-shot. There we go, that's all 5 of them. Yeah, that's it. Let's move to Lance. Against the Dragon Master, I'm smarter than last time, knowing that after I take out Gyarados, I'm facing a Dragonair. I switched to HP Ice, taking out Dragonair 1, Dragonair 2, and his Ace Dragonite. We're once again slower than Aerodactyl, but in round 1 he does not have Earthquake, so I am not worried at all. His Ancient Power bounces off of our defensively hardened body, and that's gonna be the end of this battle. Lance falls, and with him the Elite Four. Let's check out the champion. Actually, hold up. Do you remember that boo-boo I mentioned while in Victory Road? The end of Lance's battle was supposed to level me up to 68, but I'm only a little over halfway through the level. Whoops. As a backup, I'm forced to use a single rare candy, which kinda messes with my round 2 plan a little bit. Don't worry though, our Godchu had a chat with RNGesus, and we make up for it later. Now let's check out the champion. Once again mirroring the champion battle from the first playthrough, this one is a piece of cake at level 68. Pidgeot, Rhydon, Alakazam, Gyarados, and Arcanine all fall in quick succession. This brings out his Ace Venusaur, who we are once again not able to one-shot. He sets up the sun, his berry pulls him out of heal range, and then one more super effective HP Ice ends the battle. No problemo. We level up to 69, nice, and the round 1 champion is defeated. As a note, a couple of those one-shots were not possible without 68, which is why I had to burn the candy. Round 1 went pretty smooth, but we all know that round 2 is where the real action lies. Pikachu clocks in with a round 1 time under an hour of 56 minutes and 50 seconds at level 69, nice, with 0 resets. This took 3 hours and 36 minutes of game time. Since I already have Substitute on my set, the only thing to discuss between the leagues is that I managed to skip leftovers. I mean, I do still have to clear out the Snorlax because it's the fastest way to get down to the rare candy on Route 12, but you know, time saving is time saving. That's right, no other preparations needed, so we can jump right back into the league. As always, Lorelei kicks off round 2. I did not do any additional grinding in between the leagues, and the reason for that is because I wanted to grind the league. Lorelei, after all, is a super easy start to the league for Pikachu, and I wanted to get some dense experience quickly. Dugong falls, Piloswine falls, Cloyster falls, and then Jinx pops out. At this level, I'm not able to one-shot her, and funny enough, Cloyster is not reliable to set up a decoy against. Instead, I set up a decoy turn 1 against Jinx, predicting a Lovely Kiss. She will occasionally go for Ice Punch or Psychic, but Lovely Kiss is the usual suspect. I can take her out, followed by the Ace Lapras. That is a super quick 12,347 experience. Aw man, you couldn't have given me 2 less. Bruno is next. I'm sure you can predict exactly how this goes at this level. Steelix is going to be an easy one-shot with Surf, so that's another 2,700 experience. Then at level 73, I cannot one-shot Hitmonlee, who responds with an Earthquake, and yep, that's going to be Whiteout number 1. The plan is to white out using this exact method until I hit level 77. Then I'll use my remaining 13 rare candies to level up to 90 and zip-zap through the league. It was actually an incredibly fun thing to test, especially blasting through this league at level 90. 2 whiteouts into things and I level up to 75 after defeating the Steelix. Level 75 allows me to start one-shotting Hitmonlee, so this grind just got a little bit faster. Against his Machamp though, we still don't even come close to having a shot. On the next pass though, something happens that I did not expect. The RNG gods decided that Pikachu needs to go fast, and Machamp misses Cross Chop. He does go into a bit of a heal loop, but I am not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm able to slice through Steelix with Surf, and then Hitmonchan in the back with one final Thunderbolt. The grind is done. I can do this from this point. Let's go to Agatha. Because I'm now off script from what I had planned, I was equal parts panicked and excited. Let's just go for it. Thunderbolt number 1 takes out Gengar. Okay, good start. Arbok is next, and Thunderbolt misses the one-shot, leaving him at a sliver. Arbok responds with a super effective Earthquake. Oh, I can't look. But Pikachu hangs on at 23 hit points. 13% of our max. Agatha uses a full restore, but Pikachu is here for business, landing a critical on the next shot. Bye-bye, Arbok. Thunderbolt takes care of Crobat next, and then the Ace Gengar also falls in a single shot. Misdreavus brings up the back, and one final Thunderbolt does the trick. Oh my goodness, that was close, but at the end of the battle, we're level 77. This is perfect. After healing up, I use my 13 remaining rare candies to level Pikachu all the way up to 90. This is not the league that I expected to have, but let's go. We should be golden from here. What you got, Lance? I get to save an entire turn against Lance as well, because at level 90 we have 213 speed, 5 above his fastest Pokemon, Aerodactyl. Stab Thunderbolt takes out Gyarados, Aerodactyl, Dragonite number 1, and Kingdra all in a single shot. I wanted to be all swag and go for Thunderbolt one final time against his ace, but I choose the smart play going for HP Ice, which is 4 times super effective instead of neutral. That was as succinct a round 2 Lance battle as I could hope for. The Elite Four is defeated, we've reached our target level, let's go mess up a champion. We lead off against the super threatening Heracross, who falls to a single Stab Thunderbolt. Oh yeah. Gyarados stands no chance against a second Thunderbolt, bringing out Tyranitar. We know our ranges at this point though, and a single super effective Surf brings down the Gen 2 Pseudo. I know that HP Ice will put him into heal range, so I go with a Thunderbolt that also paralyzes, and he's also fully paralyzed this turn. Pikachu is unstoppable. HP Ice cleans up Venusaur. Alakazam, one shot with Thunderbolt. And Arcanine in the back, one shot with super effective Surf. The round 2 champion has been defeated. What a rush that was for me to play. I cannot believe that worked. The best part is that those 3 resets on the board were intentional whiteouts while training against the league. I have not been so proud of a run in a long time. Pikachu clocks in with a round 2 time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 5 seconds at level 91 with 3 resets. This took 4 hours and 30 minutes of game time. Let's take a quick look at how Pikachu did between the 2 runs. I cleaned up a lot of little errors in the early game, but then there's a huge fluctuation after the 4th badge. The reason for this is because of all of that additional grinding that was setting us up for the leagues. Honestly, the second run did not require a huge amount of additional planning because Pikachu with a Light Ball is pretty darn good. Knowing the grinding that I needed and getting my EVs dialed in just that little bit better did result in losing 2.5 minutes by the end of the gym challenge. I'd say I more than make up for that, being 8 minutes and 9 seconds ahead at the end of round 1. Round 2 is when it all came together, saving a total of 18 minutes and 33 seconds, 1 level higher with 22 less resets. Let's be honest though, if I'd chosen to grind somewhere that wasn't the league, we would not have any resets. And we wouldn't have had that lucky break against Bruno that propelled us to the end of the game. Well done, Pikachu. Let's take a look at the tier list, which I think maybe I should start calling the leaderboard to see where Pikachu places. Oh yeah, Light Ball Pikachu sandwiches himself right between Kyogre and Groudon's finish times. What a legendary performance. I want to extend a special thank you to all of those generous enough to support the channel through YouTube memberships, Patreon, and Super Chat. Your generosity makes this content possible for everyone out there to enjoy. From the bottom of my shell, thank you so much. And thank you for making it to the end of the video. Watching all the way till the end and your engagement help my channel so much. As I mentioned at the start, this is my 100th upload to YouTube, and I could not be here without your support. I'm hoping that I can continue honing my skills and delivering the best possible content that I can for all of you to enjoy. We still have a lot of Pokemon to play, so until next time, take care everyone.